All right, welcome grade 6 and 7 word detectives to a very special Spelling Bee masterclass. I'm absolutely thrilled you're tuning in. Today we're going to unlock one of the absolute most powerful Latin roots in the entire English language. Seriously, it's a root that acts like a magic skeleton key for your reading and writing, giving you the ability to literally decode complex words right on the fly. So let's jump right into this explainer and get our word adventure started.
To kick off our investigation, let me just ask you a couple of quick questions. Have you ever used a credit card? Or maybe you've heard a teacher or a news reporter say, hey, that's a credible source. What about words like credentials, credibility, or even the word incredulous? Now, at first glance, these words might seem totally unrelated to each other, right? They look different, they definitely sound different. But what if I told you they actually all share a hidden secret? What if every single one of them came from just one tiny ancient Latin root?
Well, here is that big secret. The root we're diving into today is cred. It's pronounced cred, and yeah, it perfectly rhymes with read, bed, and fed. If you learn this single root, I'm telling you, it acts exactly like a vocabulary superpower. You see, spelling bee champions, they don't just sit around memorizing thousands of words one by one. I mean, that would take forever. Instead, they learn the roots. Because if you know what this tiny root means, you automatically hold a massive clue to unlocking dozens, if not hundreds, of totally unfamiliar words.
Let's actually trace the incredible journey of this word. We're going to travel back nearly 2,000 years to ancient Rome. Just imagine walking through those bustling, loud streets. You've got merchants buying and selling, soldiers carrying critical messages, citizens making promises left and right. Well, the Romans had a verb for the trust required in all of those everyday actions. It was credere. It meant to believe, to trust, or to place faith in something. And over time, as Latin influenced other European languages, credere traveled right into French and eventually evolved into the modern English cred words that we use today. The language, the spelling, the pronunciation, sure, all of that shifted. But that core meaning, it survived completely intact.
So, if you take away absolutely nothing else from this explainer, remember this golden rule. Cred equals belief or trust. Just say it with me in your head right now. Cred equals belief or trust. Whenever you see this root acting like a little flashlight inside an unfamiliar word, just stop and ask yourself, okay, what does this word have to do with belief or trust?
To really see this in action, let's meet the extended members of the cred family. Picture a giant, sprawling family tree. Up at the very top sits that ancient Latin verb we just talked about, credere, and growing outward from that root are all these magnificent branches: credit, creditor, credible, credentials, creed, credence, accredit, discredit, credulous, incredulous, and even the kind of tricky word, miscreant. Every single one of these branches, no matter how complicated the word looks, connects straight back to that same soil of belief or trust.
Let's start things off with a word you hear all the time, credit. Listen to the sound of it, credit. Now, most people instantly think credit is just about money, but let's look closer at the root. Cred means trust, and it is just a noun ending. So originally, credit was purely about trust. Think about it. If a friend lends you $5, why do they do it? Because they trust you to pay it back. A bank gives someone a credit card because it believes that person will repay the loan. So here's your memory trick. Credit is trust in action. Oh, and a super quick spelling bee tip for you. Watch out for that short is sound in the second syllable. It's credit, not credit.
Next up is honestly one of the most important branches on our entire tree, credible. Notice the pronunciation there, credible. Let's break the pieces down. We have cred, meaning believe, and the suffix ible, meaning able to be. Stick them together, and credible literally translates to able to be believed. So, for example, if a scientist provides credible evidence in an experiment, they are giving evidence that is genuinely worthy of belief. Your memory trick here is simple. If you can believe it, it's credible.
But hold on, word detectives, sound the spelling bee alarm. Notice the massive trap a lot of students fall into here. Because able is such a common word, people constantly try to just stick it on the end of cred to make credible with an A. Do not do this. The correct spelling uses an I. It is absolutely C-R-E-D-I-B-L-E. Lock that I-B-L-E ending into your visual memory right this second so it doesn't trip you up later.
All right, time for a quick timeout to put those word detective skills to the test. Based on what we literally just learned, if credible means believable, what do you think the noun credibility means? Take a sec, use your new root knowledge, and try to figure out the definition.
If you guessed that credibility is the quality of being believable, you completely nailed it.
pronounced credibility. It takes our root cred for believe and adds illability, which means the quality of being able to. So credibility just means people believe you. Think of a witness sitting in a courtroom. They gain credibility by consistently telling the truth. Basically, the more honest you are, the more credibility you earn.
Moving right along, let's look at credentials, pronounced credentials. Have you ever noticed that before a hospital allows a doctor to start treating patients, they need to see their certificates and their medical degrees? Well, those qualifications are their credentials. It's solid proof that someone deserves trust. The root cred means trust, and in shells is a related ending, meaning these are the actual things that make people trust you. A really great memory trick for this one is that credentials create confidence, all starting with the letter C. And spellers, a quick warning here, do not drop the dent in the middle when you're sounding it out. Practice it slowly, credentials. Now this next part brilliantly illustrates how language evolves while keeping its core DNA perfectly intact. Let's contrast two closely related words, credence and creed. Credence, pronounced credence, means belief or acceptance as true. Like, a judge might give very little credence to a wild rumor. Creed, on the other hand, pronounced creed, is a set of beliefs that a person or maybe a club follows. Did you notice how the root morphed slightly from CRED to CREED? The spelling shifted a bit, yeah, but the fundamental meaning of belief remained exactly the same.
Okay, let's see how this builds when we start stacking prefixes onto our root. Look at the word accredit, pronounced accredit. Step 1, we add the prefix ac, which means toward. Step 2, we drop in our golden root cred, meaning trust. And step 3, the ending it. When you add all of those up, to accredit originally meant to officially trust or approve towards someone or something. Today, if an organization accredits a school, it means they officially recognize it as meeting really high standards. They are officially giving it their trust.
But what happens if we swap out that prefix? Check this out. Here, we take the exact same root and ending, but we use the prefix dis, which means the opposite. Suddenly, we have discredit, pronounced discredit. Because dis completely flips the meaning, discredit means to remove trust or to damage someone's reputation. Like if someone makes a totally false claim, it can discredit a witness. Do you see how powerful prefixes are? Accredit gives trust, while discredit completely destroys it.
Now we arrive at a massive favorite in spelling bees, credulous. Try saying that one aloud, credulous. Let's look at the pieces. We have cred, meaning believe, and illus, which means full of. So, if someone is credulous, they are quite literally full of belief. They're a bit too willing to believe things, meaning they're pretty easily fooled. Imagine a credulous traveler who just completely believes every single wild story a stranger tells them.
And this brings us to a major spelling bee trap that you must avoid. You have got to know the difference between credible and credulous. As we've learned, credible describes information, specifically facts or information that is able to be believed. Credulous, on the other hand, describes a person, someone who's too easily fooled because they believe way too quickly. Never, ever mix these two up. One is about the believability of facts, and the other is all about a person's gullibility.
Let's build one more master-level word block by block. Incredulous, pronounced incredulous. Step 1. The prefix in means not. Step 2. Cred means believe. Step 3. Ulus means full of. So when you add not to full of belief, you get someone who is completely unwilling to believe. Imagine an audience hearing a totally shocking, unbelievable story. They would look incredulous. It's the exact same feeling as looking at someone and saying, "No way, I don't believe it."
All right, detectives, you've mastered the building blocks. So I have one final boss-level challenge for you to solve before we wrap up this explainer. If you know exactly how we just built the word incredulous, what do you think is the meaning of the word incredulity?
Well, if incredulous means unwilling to believe, then incredulity, pronounced incredulity, simply means disbelief. Excellent work today. You just successfully decoded a massive complex vocabulary word using absolutely nothing but a tiny ancient Latin root.
And that brings our word adventure to a close. Remember our golden rule: when you see CRED acting as a flashlight in a word, always think believe and trust. Whether you're studying for your next spelling bee or honestly just reading a great book,
You now have the tools to decode these words completely on your own. So I'll leave you with this final, exciting thought. Armed with this ancient superpower, what new cred words are hiding out there right now, just waiting for you to unlock them in the wild today? Happy hunting, detectives!